Hi everybody, this is TeacherBot, aka Mr. Norris. Step 1, make a GitHub account. What does that look like? Well, let me show you. You gotta sign up or sign in. It's gonna ask you a bunch of questions. You gotta prove you're not a robot. We'll talk about this later. Yes, you could get AI to do all your work for you. If your friend Bob did all your work for you, you know what would happen, right? It's the same thing if AI does all your work for you. So we'll learn how to use AI later. It's going to be a lot of fun, actually. But in the meantime, I just want to make sure that my recording is working and it looks good to me. So you're going to, once you have this, now if you've already made an account, you may already have a repository here. You might have a CTI110 account repository. A repository is a place like a folder where you keep your work. What I'm trying this semester is you can either do it the old way, which is screenshot, blah, 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 the file in Blackboard, or the new way is you just give me a link to the repo where the file is, and I grade it from there. That will make my life easier, and it will make it easier for you too. So you're going to hit New Repository, and this is the most important thing in the world. I'm going to get an email from somebody and they didn't click this. Okay? So it's no problem. It only takes 5 minutes to fix it, but it takes 2 seconds to do it. I really wish this was on by default. And you can call your repository csc134. I have a bunch of those, so I'm going to call it something different, right? And then you're going to make sure this is checked. Check it twice. Because again, it takes way longer to fix this problem than it does to check that box. I'm going to hit create repository. And leave it public because, again, I'm wanting you to show your work to me, so I want it public. So once you create a repository, you can always click the cat to go back to the top. And on your side here, it's going to have, well, there's a lot of stuff. It's going to actually have some pretty interesting stuff in the middle for you because you're new. I'm old. I've been here a while, so I'm going to go to my repo. Let me go find it real quick. I spelled it wrong. Don't have one? No, I know I have one. That's fine. Here we go. I even put a link to it. That's great. Okay, so now that you got your repository, you're going to have a file called readme. And if you were to look at it, it's going to have nothing in there. This is from my face-to-face class. We were having some fun making songs with AI. Like I said, we're going to use AI for lots of stuff, but to start with, we're not going to use it to do our homework because we have to learn how to speak C++ or write C++. And getting the robot to do that's not going to help. But if you want to play the song, you can. Because my repos are all public. Okay, so I want to show you now the important part, which is how to make a code space. So you're going to click this little green code button, go to code spaces, and you're going to have a button that says create code space on main. So I'm going to just real quick delete that so that you can see what yours should look like. Yours is going to look like this, right? So we're going to do this. Now, it's really important you watch these steps, okay? Because if you've ever been sniped in a first-person shooter game, you're going to understand what's going on or what isn't going on. You're going to get a little pop-up in the corner of your screen. It might be here, might be here, might be here, something like that. But if you don't click it, nothing ever happens. And so, again, I'm going to get some emails, which is fine. Not everybody's a gamer, so they don't know to check their six. Check your corners, right? But I'm going to get some pop-ups here. I'm going to show you what it looks like. What's happening here? What is a code space? Just don't worry about that. That's what I meant. So I need to now make a new file. So over here, I have like a window, like this is like a folder, like your flash drive. I could do search. We can go to source control. We're going to use this in a bit. I'm not going to use this probably, and I got all these extensions, and then down here some more stuff, okay? About 99% of the stuff you're not going to need yet, so don't worry about it. It's going to be very simple. Again, you're going to have one file. So let's walk through what you're going to do. And once I finish this part, part 2 of the video is going to be when a separate link where I actually write the program. It's pretty short. I'm going to click this, and I always like to name my files the name of the assignment. So m2t1, and then I put like a dash or underscore, whichever. And your last name, .cpp. Okay. Again, one of you is going to put CCP. That's a real easy typo. That won't work. If you do that, just make it called CPP. See the corner? So as soon as I did that, I made a file with CPP. It says, do you want to install the C++ extension pack? You do, because now you have a C++ compiler. You don't have to install anything else. This all runs, chugga chugga. And when it's done, I'm going to have a button right here that lets me, let me close some of these windows so that you're not looking at all this junk. That's better. All right. What I got here? Oh, I don't know. Do you play early access games? If you do, click yes. I don't, so I click no. They both work the same, but okay. Now, notice over here it now says you have one file changed. Now that's interesting, right? Because when you're using GitHub, what happens is every time you make a change, you store the change and then you can share it with people. So it's not even just that you write the whole program at once, it's that you write a little bit. So I'm going to write this first program, but I'm going to tell you something that I always do is I take a simple program and copy it. Okay, so I'm going to do that real quick. Now you won't have this necessarily. I'm going to go to the assignment. And I'm going to take a bunch of this stuff out because, hey, cool. All right, so in a second, you're going to be able to see this hopefully a little bit better. How's that? Well, we'll find out when you watch the video. Okay. So I like to start files like this. Say A Norris or Norris A, or you can put your full name, whatever. And then I like to put the date, so we'll do 1/26/2025. Why do this? It's really helpful sometimes if you're like, well, what files got made when? The file is going to be called m2t1 Norris, and the top of the file says m2t1 Norris. Considering I grade about 100 assignments a week, I think you can understand why this is going to really help me if you all do that. And it makes my life easier. So thank you very much for helping. So then you can type all this stuff. I'm going to just leave this like it is. Hello. Cool. Now I have my hello world. And I have a button here. Possible troubleshooting. If this button doesn't show up, is your file misnamed? Is there a CPP? Did you see that little thing pop up? Again, if it doesn't work, just email me. We'll figure it out. It's not a problem. So I'm going to save a little time here and do the easiest way. So I'm going to click run just because it's fewer things to click. So when I run this, you're going to look down here. I don't care about that at all. That means nothing to me. So I click don't show again. Okay. Remember, this is the same tool that like people who get paid big money to write code use. I got to click back to terminal, but if I do that, here's my output. And I could add more, right? Again, if you put end-l, you can just do like that. Some people like this. I'm going to run it again to show my changes. And you notice it only changes windows that first time. So from now on, it works great. Okay. So now I've got a hello world program. And in the next video, we're going to turn this into the actual assignment. But I wanted to show you this, first of all, because, make your own simple program that you can copy and paste so you're not typing in include IOStream using namespace 100 times. That's not going to teach you much, whereas typing this stuff will help. It'll practice. Remember, that's ENDL. That's not a 1. I'm sorry, it looks like a 1. And now I'm going to go over here to finish the thing, because if you don't save your work, you don't have your work. So how do you save your work? You go here, and here's the other thing go wrong. Never leave this blank. If you leave this blank, it's going to take me 10 minutes to explain how to fix it. If you just don't leave it blank, it never happens. I'm going to say m2t1. So you should write in here what you did. Well, it's called m2t1, so that's fine to me. I'm going to say I started it. Hit commit. Hit sync changes. Okay. You're going to get a bunch of pop-ups. I think you can just say no, don't show again to most of them. If you click the default, they'll just pop up every time, and you'll always click the same thing, and it just gets old after a while. So don't worry about that. Okay, so now I've got this, and I want to show you what it looks like. Okay, this is what's really important here. So when I go back to my main page, right, which is, again, github.com, my username, yours, if you're Smith1234, then you should probably call it Smith1234. And then the class, and then I see tree mains, right? So that's a link. Okay. Now, when you go here, I can see the file and the CPP. Now, this file, don't worry about that. We'll talk about it later. but the CPP is right here. And this link, when I say you can submit this, that's what I mean, right? I can see the file. Now, what if you're not sure if that works or not? We'll copy and paste it to a new tab and make sure it's the file. If it doesn't show me the file, then I'm not going to be able to grade it. Okay. Now, we're not done yet, but we're half done because we're all set up in a really free and very powerful tool. I know I did it kind of fast. So anybody who has issues, I will jump on Collaborate. I'll get on a phone call with you, whatever it takes to get this working. Because the other tools that I've tried all charge you money. And as students, I want you to learn this tool because it's free and it's very good. So that way you only learn one tool. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.